Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, all U.S. Constitution Protects All Lives Matter members out there and their families. And good morning to our dear President, Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance, our Vice President. And good morning to the Cabinet of Trump-Vance USA. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a beautiful Sunday of ordinary times of our liturgical year in the United States of America. As you know, America is under attack again. And it's from within. We need to stick together. We need to stick together to protect our United States Constitution. As you've seen on social media with these radicals, if you've seen in different areas protests, and as you've seen going on in Dearborn, Michigan, the home of Rashida Tlaib, Minnesota, Ilhan Omar, and in New York, which the area is infested and infiltrated with radical Islamic terrorists backing the Iranian regime. As you know, when you back a country who was at war with our country, is an act of treason and sedition. Waving the Iranian flag and the Islamic flag supporting jihad. Jihad is a religious war or war period on a adversary of their religion. Us as Roman Catholics and Christians, which this country was founded upon Christianity, and as you've seen all across the land and government buildings, in God we trust, and on the almighty dollar, in God we trust. Remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen. You can only cover up so much. And the infrastructure of this country is being undermined by these people because they're dominating corner stores, the individual stores like Key Food, which I was overcharged for stuff that wasn't supposed to be. People's SNAP benefits are being taken and robbed by these people, some of the very people that Ilhan Omar support. But to the root of the SNAP theft and Medicare and health fraud is people supporting the Islamic jihad against America. It has gone too far because they infiltrated with the Trojan horse through the system of our banking and also the merchants. As you know, merchant accounts are a privilege that are afforded to corner stores and stores. And if they violate that privilege, it is automatically revoked. We as Americans, and if you are an American, it doesn't matter what ethnic group you're from, if you're American, you support the United States Constitution. Freedom of choice, freedom of religion. Not as what is being broadcast by these people who are protesting in New York, Dearborn, Michigan, Portland, Oregon, Chicago, and other places. That is an act of treason, an act of sedition, and should be taken not lightly. These people need to be expelled from the United States of America. Anybody else, and that goes for Italians, because they threw us out of the country by a law enacted in 1992. If you commit a crime and you're a national citizen, naturalized, you automatically lose your citizenship. After you finish your prison sentence. Many Italian Americans, Sicilian Americans were subjected to that. Many Italian Americans lost their businesses, their homes, bank accounts, and other fiduciary items. Clothes, cars, boats, anything that was a tangible or intangible asset. These individuals are out there breaking the law, and nothing's being done because people are hiding behind the Black Lives Matter movement, Incorporated, heads Rosa Opal, Patrisse Cullors, and their consigliere, Barack Hussein Obama. Why Obama is not taken and thrown out the country or taken before a UN tribunal is beyond me. I got proof, physical proof, of being targeted by his regime because of my attempts to exposing COINTELPRO and Project M that was authorized and employed by his administration on targeted Italians who refused to rat in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Me being one of them. And thereafter, others on the street. Now, such use of programs, COINTELPRO, Project M, by Barack Hussein Obama, beyond a reasonable doubt, violates an enacted court order back in 1987 from the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, mandating that such programs, the FBI rogue agents who employed to cause disruption on targeted organizations, groups, and people, to cease and desist because it is unconstitutional. Supreme Court, 2 years before, also ordered such programs, now known as Project M, but before MK Ultra, to be ceased and desist on the soil of the United States of America, as well as targeted U.S. citizens, because it was unconstitutional. So again, ladies and gentlemen, all the accusations by Chuck Schumer, Maxine Waters, Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries, that Donald Trump violated court orders is ludicrous, because they were violating standing court orders intact and in place since 1987, when Donald Trump wasn't even in office. When did this take place? I have physical proof. It started in 2008. Where was Donald Trump? In the private business sector. Where was Barack Hussein Obama? Joe Biden? In the White House. In 2012 and 2010, where was Barack Hussein Obama? In the White House. Where was Kevin Rizzoli? Being targeted by rogue FBI agents and law enforcement officials under the orders of Barack Hussein Obama and Eric Holder. There is physical proof, beyond a reasonable doubt, again, ladies and gentlemen, which warrants a UN tribunal against Barack Hussein Obama, Eric Holder, the BOP director, Loretta Lynch, Damian Williams, Preet Bharara, and others within the confines of the Southern District of New York, along with Judge Denise Coate, Judge Laura Swain, Judge Schoenfeld, Judge Lyman, Magistrate Judge Ricardo, where their rulings conflict with the U.S. constitutional laws, congressional law policies, and enacted laws and U.S. Supreme Court rulings, which most recent in Montgomery versus Carib Transport, dealing with people who have CDLs that do not understand the English language. That can be seen in Rizzoli versus TQL Logistics et al., 25 CV 6307, which Judge Lyman is presiding over and is pending appeal. Before that, U.S. versus Rizzoli, 12 CR 550, Judge Denise Coate, where false military files were used during discovery process of the trial of Kevin Rizzoli. Before that, United States Parole Commission and U.S. Marshals served an arrest warrant in 2010 at the offices of Raz Trading LLC in the Hunts Point Terminal Market. Such warrant was issued for a black race male named Kevin Rizzoli. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you see this face? Do I look like a black race male? And it is their obligation as law enforcement, trained law enforcement, to look at it and question it, because they were questioned on the scene in the front of Ann Venuti, Teresa Venuti, and others in my office, which Ann Venuti gave a statement to the U.S. Department of Justice, along with Philip Margiotta of Margiotta Produce, Competition, Nick Rodelli, head of security of the Hunts Point Terminal Market and head of public safety. Captain Clark gave statements to the Bronx DA's office against Kevin Rizzoli, along with Ann Venuti. They testified at my two trials in the Bronx to cover up for Barack Hussein Obama and Eric Holder, Preet Bharara, and also who? Damian Williams, who was rewarded that position of U.S. Attorney, Southern District of New York, by Joe Biden to continue cover-ups of COINTELPRO and Project M. So again, ladies and gentlemen, remember, if we boycott these stores owned by these Islamic terrorists or people who fortify terrorism, you will break their bank account and their ability to buy property from within the United States, which they are trying to do and form their Islamic sleeper cells. We are not racist in America, but we are here to protect the United States Constitution and the United States of America. Because remember one thing, you pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, from which it stands. And remember that our flag stands on every vessel that combs the waterways to protect the United States of America. Our flag stands on every Army outpost. And anyone who attacks those Army outposts attacks America. And as you've seen and see on social media, these Islamic terrorists and supporters of the Iranian regime are praising killing American soldiers. You want to go and purchase items in those stores? I don't. I think they should be expelled from the United States of America as enemies of the state and under the acts of treason and sedition they can be. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And remember one thing. We will be having a protest in front of 500 Pearl Street in the near future once the right to assembly permit is issued by the city, which is legally done, not illegally assemble outside where the police can arrest you. Once that permit is given, the date will be set, and the time will be set, and we expect and accept your support at such date and time of the assembly is gathered under the United States Constitution, protects all lives matter organization, and for all of our Roman Catholic brethren and Christians. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless America. And let's see how long this permit is taken to be issued. Thank you.